what to do to start a business, I'm going to explain some of the basic things that you're going to need to set up when starting a business. Okay, everybody, let's dive deep. So you've got a great idea. You've been thinking about this for months or years, and you really want to start your own business. You're ready to move forward. We're going to discuss in this video the steps that you're going to need to take to get set up. Now, there's going to be other steps depending on the business that you're in that you might also have to take. So not everything might be included in this video, but these are your basics, your cores that you're going to make sure that you're going to want to make sure you set up. Okay, first, you're going to need to go to your Secretary of State's website. In most states, that's where you go and register your entity. So hopefully you've thought of a name. Maybe it's Bob's Cards. Maybe it's John's Restaurant. Who knows? Whatever it is, that's up to you. You need to register that name with your local Secretary of State's office. Luckily, you can do that online, so it makes it a lot easier. I would check before you do that with your CPA. Your CPA and your attorney can help you decide together collectively, should you set it up as an LLC or a different entity? They're the ones you're going to want to lean on. If you don't have a CPA or you don't have an attorney, I highly advise getting one because they're going to lead you down the right path. Remember, what we're doing here is we're setting up your business's foundation, your fundamentals. So you don't want to screw this up at the beginning. It's worth spending the extra money. And a lot of people that you know might have somebody they can refer you to that won't charge you anything just for simple advice like, hey, I want to start a restaurant. Would you recommend that I register it as an LLC? And if they're a certified public accountant, AKA CPA, they're the ones that maybe can help you. Or you have a friend or a friend of a friend or a family member that's an attorney, or maybe they can refer you to somebody that can help you. Make sure that with registering your entity that you're getting some kind of counsel, legal and some kind of certified public accountant that knows what they're doing to help you out. So every state is different. Once you go through the process, you should be issued a business entity ID number or something similar to that. As soon as you see that on your screen, print like 10 copies. And the reason I say that is, if you need to find that, it's sometimes not the easiest to quickly access that information. So what I like to do is print like 5 or 10 copies, put them in different folders, different places. So one of them I frame because I might put it in the business, at the business, on the wall or something like that. But print them as soon as you're done. Anytime you see print, you may print this for your records, you probably should do that. Just let that be a tip. So I also a lot of times save them locally on my computer. So I not only print physical copies, then I print them and I name them something easy that I'll remember. So if my restaurant is John's Restaurant LLC, I might put John's Restaurant LLC and then whatever the name of that paperwork is. Maybe it's your articles of organization, your articles of incorporation, which is generally what you get when you register the business. Okay, so that's basically step one. After you've thought about your business, you know what you want to name it, you need to register that. Step two, you need to get your employment identification number, also known as federal employment identification number, and abbreviated as EIN or FEIN. They're basically the same thing. They are basically the social security number for your business. It's not something you want to plaster everywhere. It's something you definitely want to keep, like you protect your social security number. You want to protect your EIN number. That is something very special for your business. It's something you're going to use when you're applying for credit. Sometimes when you're setting up your utility companies, they require that and so on. So protect that, but you're going to need to register an EIN number with the IRS. Now, if you've done this before, you can do this all by yourself on the IRS's website. I believe it's irs.gov. However, again, I would recommend having your CPA and attorney help you through this process if you've never done this before. Okay, so you're going to have let's recap so far. You're going to have your business entity ID number from registering, as an example, an LLC. I'm not saying you have to set up an LLC. I've done that before multiple times with various businesses, but you might want to do something differently. Then you get your EIN number or your FEIN number, and you register that with the IRS. Once you have both of those, depending on the business that you're going to want to get into, you're going to need to also register for other tax accounts. And there's lots of different tax accounts. You have no idea, depending on the business that you're in, what you're going to need. As an example, sales tax, food tax. If you have the restaurant and you have a bar, you might need liquor tax. There's so many different things you're gonna have to register and get ID numbers for and certificates for so that you're legal. You're fully functioning as a legal business. You're also for payroll. If you're starting out and you only have yourself, that's one thing. But the second you think about hiring a person and putting them on payroll, you're gonna need all kinds of account numbers, withholding numbers, unemployment numbers, state, federal, this kind of stuff. What I personally do at this point in my life is I like to use companies that process my payroll because they keep track of it. It's very clean. So I use ADP for a few of my businesses. You can use a company like Paychex. There's several different companies out there that are great. Some charge higher fees, lower fees. It's kind of like whatever you decide. Do your own research and decide. But if you're one of those people that out the gate say, hey, I don't want to do payroll, it's a pain. It is. It's a job. It's not a full-time job necessarily. It could be depending on how big your company is, but it is definitely an ongoing job. So if you can have a payroll company helping you out with all the back-end tax reporting, they will send in like your quarterly wage tax reports and things like that to the state, so you don't have to do it manually each quarter, things like that. They'll charge you for it, of course, but it's, in my opinion, for what I do in my businesses, well worth the money. It really is. If you don't have the money to spend right now, you're going to have to do that manually. And again, like anything else, you're going to need to learn how to do that. Okay? We can try to cover that on a future video. But as I've always said, YouTube University usually has a lot of videos. Not every one of them shows you correct things, but there's a lot of good information out there online that can teach you how to do that as well. And if you have friends that have other businesses, you can always lean on them and ask them for their help. What are friends for, right? They help out, you help out. It's awesome. Okay, after that, bank accounts, depending on how many bank accounts you want to open for your business. Some people like to have like maybe 2, some people have 3, some people only have 1. There's nothing wrong with only having 1. But you might ask, well, why would I need 2 or 3 bank accounts? You might want to have one account that's like your operating account that you pay your expenses out of. And one of them, maybe you pay, payroll out of. One of them, you maybe consider like a savings account for your business. It's all up to you truly. You can structure it however you want. Most people have like one company account and that's it. And it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I've learned kind of over the years that it's not a bad idea to maybe have a secondary one just so in case you want to keep things clean. So you want to keep your basic expenses here, or in some cases, maybe you want to have checks, like your manager be able to write checks out of one of your other accounts. So you put a small amount of money, like for petty cash or something like that, you put that into that other account. So maybe in your main account, you like to keep $20,000, $10,000, whatever the number is in your main operating account. Some people, if you start a big business, might be a lot more money. And then you say, well, my manager's going to need to be able to, run to the store and, I'm going to get him a debit card, but, maybe some places, he needs to write a check or whatever. So maybe you put a couple $1,000s in that account. So that's why you can see why you might need a couple accounts. But the banks will not let you register those accounts without your company paperwork lined up. So that was, you need to show them your articles of organization or your articles of incorporation, which you get from the Secretary of State. That was the first thing we talked about in the video. By registering, as an example, your LLC. You'll need your employment identification number, like we talked about earlier with the IRS. They won't let you open up that bank account. And then obviously you're going to need to have all your other ducks in a row as well. So, some banks, depending on what the bank is, they might let you immediately apply for like a business credit card, depending on how your credit is. I personally like doing that. It starts immediately establishing credit for your business, and it helps give you more operating capital to work with so you can start charging things, maybe earning cash back, things like that, delaying so you can pay for a month. I recommend always paying your credit card bill in full, if at all possible, so you don't pay any interest. So, you could charge today, and then when the bill comes in a month, then you can pay it in full and you don't pay any interest. And if you have one of those cards, many of them have introductory special offers where you can earn cash back and bonuses and things like that. Some are like airline miles where you get free flights and things like that. So you can charge a lot of things on those credit cards for your business and then earn free things. And as long as you're paying your credit card in full every month, you're actually making money off of your credit card instead of losing money. So once you set up your bank account, now you've got money that you can start, in a sense, operating and doing various things with. There's other factors that you're gonna have to do when you're setting up your business. And like a lot of people like to do what I do, and that is set up a lot of different things at one time so that they're, in a sense, paralleling each other as time's going. Because while you're setting up, say, your payroll is not going to get set up overnight. It's going to take time to get them all the documentation and get that all set up. So while you're doing that, set up your bank account. While you're doing that, you're negotiating your lease agreement. If you're leasing a space, not all of you are going to go lease a space. Let's say you're starting your own insurance company, or you're starting your own doctor's practice or something like that. You're gonna have to probably lease space from like a big office building. So in the meantime, while you're setting all this stuff up, don't lose the time. That's precious and valuable time. So have all these 5 or 10 different things, work on a piece of them every single day so that after 2 or 3 months passes, it's all been taken care of. Negotiating a lease agreement depends on the landlord. Sometimes you can do really quickly. I've done it in as quick as about a month. And then some of them take months, 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, depending on how difficult your landlord is, how busy they are, how quickly they communicate. There's so many factors. So you got to make sure you got to get that going. So when you're ready to open up, you've got your space, you've got your office that you can actually work out of. Also insurance. You're going to need to get all the basic insurance that you have for all your various different businesses. I shouldn't say businesses, your business, but all the different aspects of your business. That's what I was trying to say there. So depending on what kind of insurance you're going to have, some insurance companies just give you kind of a template form standard liability policy, you know, with average bells and whistles. And you have to ask for additional coverage. As an example, maybe you want to add earthquake insurance or tornado insurance or something like that. A lot of times those aren't just automatically added. So you want to get out a piece of paper and brainstorm things that you want to make sure are on your policy. And when you're setting that up with your insurance agent, say, hey, do you have these 10 things covered? And then beware, watch out for exclusions. A lot of times, almost every policy has exclusions. Read them. See what is excluded. If this happens, maybe I'm not going to get coverage, and try to see if you can get that. And then shop, like anything else, shop 3, 4, 5 different insurance companies to see who gives you not only the best deal, but most importantly, who gives you the most coverage, right? You want as many things covered as possible. I've found out over the years, I was using one insurance company, and if I switched, this one was going to give me $100,000 in coverage that the other company wasn't even giving me. I mean, that was just one example. Now, again, something bad has to happen, but at least I would be covered if it was. So shop your insurance companies, and not only for price, but also for what they're going to put into your policy. That takes a lot of experience, and we can dive deeper into that on a different video. Then, to kind of go towards the end of this video, you're going to want to set up your email, your business cards, your phone number, your website, your social media. Yeah, I know it's a lot, but again, spend a little bit of time each day and do a segment of each one of these things we've talked about in this video. Just make progress. Put one foot in front of the other and just continue to make progress every day. You'd be surprised what you'll accomplish in 3 months and in 6 months. It's very difficult when you start day one. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to do all this stuff. Yeah, it's impossible to do in one day, but in 3 months or 6 months or a year, you can do a lot of work. So just make progress in every aspect of what you're doing. And we'll conclude this video with this. We're trying to set up a business and the things that you need to do. I think that it's important to find the sources and the suppliers for all the products or even services that you're going to be selling. Make sure that, for example, in our axe throwing business, we had to go shop to see where we're going to buy our wood from and things like that. You want to make sure that your suppliers are giving you the best prices that are out there, and also, of course, quality products. Remember, cheaper price doesn't necessarily mean better, especially if it's worse quality. So you want to go out and spend time to shop all the different distributors and suppliers and all the different places. Heck, you might even find a local big store like Costco or Walmart or something like that to actually be cheaper on certain items. You just never know what deals are out there. But it's important that you continuously research and try to find those different suppliers, because you will ultimately save money over the course of your business life as you cut costs. Okay, so I hope this video has been very helpful. It's important to understand what you're getting into when you're getting to start a business, and I want you not to be scared. I just want you to have some basic knowledge so you can move forward. As always, stay well and be the hustler.